Hi, I'm Rashidat Adebisi. I work with AXA Mansard Insurance Plc. I'm responsible for the retail solutions division. So we're responsible for customers, individual customers, as well as small, medium, and sometimes some large companies, literally trying to make sure that we can serve them across different sectors. And in particular, we also seek to support the agriculture sector.
Can you give us a specific about who your clients are? Either smallholder farmers, commercial farmers, what you're doing in the sector?
In the retail sector, we support smallholder farmers, we support associations, so we work with partnerships, as well as pure small and middle-sized companies. The large corporates are taken care of by our commercial solutions team, and we support them already from Dangote's, Ola Manco are supported from that angle. But we are literally trying to ensure that we can, move our things to the populace. So we're mass market kind of team.
What happens if there's a drought and cooperatives go through a loss? How long would it take to get your funds back, to get your claims back? How long does it take? Can you give us examples?
Claims are settled on insurance policies based on information and documentation. So as I mentioned to you, with the parametrics, for example, we have databases, we have satellite access across the world, so we're able to get this data. So from the point in which it's triggered, we'll typically have a 2-week cycle for a payment period. It can be shorter. We've seen claims settled in 1 week. So last year in particular, we had 3 farms, which wasn't parametrics, by the way, which was your typical usual agri insurance that we put in place. And I think 2 of the farmers were paid within 7 days. And then I think there was only 1 that took 2 weeks. And it was really about validating, because, for you to file insurance policies under that platform, you need to fill the forms and complete the documentation. So it's from when you get the full documentation. Sometimes it can be shorter. But typically you would go through a process and you sign a discharge voucher. And from when you sign a discharge voucher, agreeing to the terms, it's less than 24 hours for you to receive payment. So it's
interesting to know.
It's a really good thing, yes. It's important to start planting again. So, and to get the right level of funds to you and to give you the cash flow to continue your business.
So you're not stuck?
No, we don't want that to happen.
When it comes to insurance, a lot of people don't have trust because they feel like their loss will never get paid, it will take forever, it might take a year. But as you said, people can get it in a week, depends on your claims. But how can farmers actually be adequately and reasonably indemnified at the occurrence of loss? Is that a need, or is it a true thing when it comes to Mansard insurance?
It's very true, and you just need to look at the financial statement and look at how much claims we've paid out as an organization to know that it's very critical to us. I mean, we have overall claims ratios over 60%, which means that we do pay claims, and we don't just pay them after 10 months. We're very focused. We have performance measurements internally, KPI set for our team that ensures that they pay claims on time. Sometimes they're chasing up on clients to get information, but typically the farm tools, your farmhouse, anything you can literally think of that there is a risk facing them. If it's a risk that can be mitigated, we cover them. But of course, there's some risks that the insurance company might not cover. So you need to put in other risk management mechanisms for that. Or there could be a risk that the person just decides, I don't want to do something. That's something that anyone can insure, because you can't change people's mindsets. That's rare. But if you come to farm cars, for example, and they had an accident, we have claims that we're settling in 1 day. There's been a lot of logistic issues in the country, and those are things that we're working on right now. And I'm really looking forward to next year, because we've made a lot of investments and lots of plans to make sure that we can give people access to understanding, what they need to repair, getting the cost, because that's where the issue comes from. Knowing how much it will cost to put your car back in a normal state and then getting it done with the right level of quality. So if we have those centers and we have those people that can make that happen, and they can pick up your farm car, drop it back and get it sorted out, then it means everything can work faster, and we just fund it. So as an industry, we really need to go back to where we need to be. People need to trust us, people need to know we're there for them. We are. And many companies have improved significantly. In the early days, people would say, my marketing, mantra was that we pay claims. Now everybody pays claims, but how timely is it, and how does it help you meet your needs? And this is what we focus on. And I'm very certain that we will do a lot more as an industry in this space. But more importantly, I think it's communicating, showing examples, and getting people to share their stories. Sometimes people are shy, sometimes people are private, they don't really want to talk about it, but we're lucky. We sometimes get customers who give testimonies, and on our website, for example, you can see testimonies where customers are giving us approval and permission to use them, but you don't always get that, right? So, but I think for us, what will make us happy is to have a situation whereby, genuine claims are picked very quickly.
So one of the questions we usually get asked in the industry, and people want to know, the agricultural equipment, can they be adequately insured? Wear and tear, what happens to our equipment?
I advise people to sit down and analyze the risks that they face, because sometimes risks are different depending on the environment and geography you're in. But typical risks like fire, flooding, things of that nature would easily be covered. But we don't cover wear and tear, because wear and tear is normal, and what you expect is that companies will put aside some amount called depreciation in their financial statements on an annual basis, which is more or less pulling together funds to replace that particular asset. We also try to encourage our customers to ensure they have the right level of maintenance, they have the right level of skills. They're not using substandard people to maintain very important machinery for you, because that could create problems in itself. So these are the key things that we try to make sure are in place for customers to manage the risk of wear and tear. And of course, timely replacement and perhaps updating technology sometimes, because you can probably do better with the same equipment when you have the latest version. So these are the things you use to manage the risk of wear and tear. But the risk of fire, the risk of an accidental damage, those things are not an intentional fire. So arson typically isn't covered, and it's just like suicide isn't covered for life as well. If you take your own life.
Fire?
Yeah, so fire is covered. Well, if someone took their life, it's intentional, so it's accidental. So fire is covered. You can cover practically every farm tool you have, your farm buildings, for fire, for burglary as well. Okay. Yes, but of course, if you're having burglary, there will be discussions around what controls you have in place, because you want to mitigate the risk. And the thing people don't understand about insurance is that it's really about pricing the risk appropriately. So if you're a high risk person, periodically they might review your price upwards. But if you're a low risk customer and you're not having claims, then we can then look at revising your pricing downwards. So we have a good mix. We don't want people who are high risk being subsidized by people who are low risk. So you want to try and get a good balance. But it's not always easy to get it right. Sometimes customers think, I should get lower prices, but then you try to carry them along and share with them claims ratios to say, okay, your claims ratio, it's pretty high, this is why this is happening, so that they are prepared and they know.
When it comes to agricultural insurance, it's pretty new, so you obviously face some challenges. What policies can the government do to help the agricultural industry better, more productive, get more people to get into insurance? What can they do?
I believe the government has started, and they started by opening up the agric space. Before, agric insurance was solely being offered by NAIC. NAIC is the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Commission Institute, and they focus a lot, and they work with the government when they give loans to farmers. They've always been doing this over the years, but I think about 4 years ago or so, the industry was opened up to other insurance companies who had the right capabilities, who would get the right reinsurance support, and quite a few of us were able to do this. And I think this is where we're now able to see innovation coming in, because we need to grow that sector, right? And they never really had that focus and drive to try and create more innovation. But private sector companies are driven by this on a daily basis, which is why we started looking for how to create more awareness, and how to educate ourselves more, our people. We're working with international organizations like the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, as well as World Bank and all the other institutions who are trying to improve the economic condition of the country and people there. And so we keep working on different initiatives with them. So these are some of the things that you expect the government to do. But there are also funding supports that can be given, exports, import waivers in some instances as well, because some of the materials that are needed for the farmers, right, and even that insurance company to help them cover are imported, right? And so cost of bringing those things in, if you have delays at the port, it can affect the farming cycle. So trying to really get a good balance here, I think is very important. And I think some level of stability of some of the government policies will be very important. Today we ban a particular thing. Next year we remove the ban of importing, and then people have made investments, and they've insured, and they've taken loans, and and then everything is gone because people are now importing at cheaper levels. But of course, I think they need financial support to reduce the cost of production because of the lack of infrastructure we have. People spend so much more in lighting their farms, making making sure that they power them, roads, accidents that happen because roads are bad. I think even logistics generally, taking it from point A to B. If you're a grower and you're trying to deliver things to your off-taker as well, there are so many risks you face along the way. Of course, there are policies you can take for certain type of crops, what we call goods in transit, so covering you from when you're taking it from the farm to the off-taker's facility. There are insurance policies that you can take for that you put in there. So I think it's about striking a balance. But everyone is supporting agriculture. We've seen at this event as well some of the government representatives telling us what they're doing about it. But I think we need to walk our talk, and everyone needs to do a lot to create results right now. But these are definitely interesting times, as I say to people, and this is the time to support smallholder farmers and large farmers. And I think the SME initiatives are also very important, and there are facilities, I think, at the Bank of Industry as well that farmers can actually access. So these are some of the things that would help them. So we provide insurance for this sort of facilities from the Bank of Industry, for example, whether it's from life or key man risks. So these sort of things, we help to give the bank that level of security so that the farmers can access the funds and actually grow those crops and contribute to the society and hopefully to the GDP.
Everybody's going from oil to soil. Everybody wants to invest in the agriculture sector. What advice do you have for investors coming into the sector, but not necessarily agriculture, insurance industry, so that, and for youths that are willing to join into, like, get into the agriculture insurance industry? What advice do you have for them and potential investors?
I'll look at it from two angles. Okay, so from the industry perspective, I mean, you need to make sure that you have the right knowledge, the right information, and do your research. Because, insurance is, some people see it as free funds. It isn't. Insurance companies go down. I think the companies that have dropped significantly offering agri insurance even in the US. And why? If you take the wrong, pricing strategies and you don't do things well, then you might end up losing out. And every business is about profitability in the long run. You need to cover your costs. Even if you're investing in the future, you need to be able to show a plan on how you're going to get to where you like to get to. So for people coming into the insurance, agricultural insurance industry, is really to understand the market, understand where they would like to play, understand that, sometimes it takes a lot of funds, resources, and partnerships, because we have to collaborate. We can't go that journey alone. So we work with the cooperatives, with the aggregators, with different platforms. You need to first of all make sure that they are genuine, and they have the right authorization, if any, and you understand what their own intention is, and you also need to understand the people there to make sure, and more importantly is to understand the risk they face. Sometimes it's so easy to sell what you want to sell, but we really need to try and understand better what people really require. I think this will make us more attractive, and people will be willing and trust insurance company more, willing to work with us if we take out the time to really listen and try and ensure that we're meeting the appropriate need. I love agriculture. I mean, my parents are farmers, by the way, and they're very focused on aquaculture at the moment, and they're very interested in greenhouse farming as well. So this is something that I see every day, and I believe that agriculture is the future, and people who are going to feed the world are definitely going to be in control. And to go into farming, you need to be sure where you want to play. Do you really want to be someone who's planting and growing? Do you really want to be an off-taker or processor? Do you want to be a supplier? You need to understand the value chain, and you need to understand what sort of crops and the risks that they face. So as an investor coming into this space, you don't just invest blindly, and you need to look at your horizon. Is it short, middle, or long run? So if it's a long-term sort of investment cycle you have, then you can think about cocoa and all the sort of crops, because they don't happen overnight. But if you're a short-term guy, poultry can work for you, but you have to understand the risk of poultry. You have to work with professionals, people who have been proven. And there are quite a few interesting platforms right now that one could look at, and if you go online, you'll find some of them. Or also, just do your research. I think this is very, very important. And risk and rewards, they sort of go hand in hand together. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. So you have to understand that if you're looking for very high rewards, they're also high risk. This is how I work with it. But I think we need more collaboration, even in the farming sector overall. People need to work together, because you then do more, you're able to achieve more, and perhaps be ready to give up ownership of a company to share with other people so that you can generate more results. AXA Mansard is an insurance company that offers a full bouquet of non-banking financial services. So we can provide the appropriate level of cover for you in life, general business, health, asset management and pension. There's no other company that can do this for you, especially highly capitalized company with a global view, with a local expertise. You know, we are represented AXA in about 64 countries of the world, and we have a very huge balance sheet, and you know that we're here for the long run. So you definitely need to pick AXA Mansard Insurance to be the preferred insurer you want to work with. More importantly, within the agri sector is the fact that, you know, we're a very innovation-driven company. We have resources from across the world that we can draw on, and therefore we're able to find, you know, cutting-edge, you know, insurance solutions for all farmers across the different spectrums. Whether you're a large farm holder, small farm holder, it's just a startup, you are working in between the supply sector. So across the value chain in agriculture, we are definitely the company to be speaking to. We listen to you, we work with you, we understand your risk, and we find the right solution.
Thank you very much.